Then he sent novice Moggaliputta Tissa to Thera Chandavaji in order to learn the Sutta Pitak and the Abhidhamma Pitak. There, Tis learned the Sutta and Abhidhamma Pitak with commentaries except the Bina Pitak. The Samant Pasadika speaks that Tis attained the status of the Tipitak Dhar at the time of the higher ordination, that is Upsampada, even before he had spent one rainy season. He was master of the Tipitak, which means that he mastered the Binay too. On the other hand, we see the text Mahavans, it is said that Thera Singh, after the higher ordination, taught Binay and the two Pitakas to novice Moggaliputta Tis. On behalf of the text, it can be said that the teaching of the Binay to novice Moggaliputta Tis has been emphasized as secondary. He was taught the Binay after teaching the Sut and Abhidham. Novice Moggaliputta Tis learned the entire Buddha's teaching or Buddhabachan together with the commentaries or Attakathas except the Binay, which has been a problem to Venerable Sariputta, the author of the Saratha Deepani, the Tika of the Samant Pasadika. Probably he found something unusual in it and was trying to find out if there was any reason for it. There was no custom to teach the Binay to the novice except for the Binay, the rest of the Buddha's teaching were taught. It may be noted that this was not Sariputta's opinion, but he explained the glossaries. The author of the Saratha Deepani and the glossaries belong to the Mahavihar school. They did not want to dispute or disagree with Samant Pasadika. They were trying to defend it. However, there appears to be a more substantial reason for teaching the Sut and Abhidham to the novice Moggaliputta Tis, postponing the Vinay to a subsequent occasion. The Thera Singh and Chandavaji were training their people to handle a significant dispute on the core of the Buddha's teaching relating to the Sutta Pitak and the Abhidhamma Pitak. Therefore, he should be an expert on the Sutta and the Abhidhamma in order to face the heretics. There was no immediate necessity for him to master the Binay, and they could afford to postpone the teaching of it to a subsequent occasion. Moreover, it was very well known to the teachers that their genius pupils would quickly master the Binay when it comes. Moggaliputta Tis mastered the Binay in no time, the preservations of which was entrusted to the lineage of monks, that is Acharya Parampara, to which he belonged. He took over the position of the chief of the Binay after the demise of his teacher Singh. Afterward, the young Tis practiced Vipassana, gained true insight and mastered the 6 supernatural powers. In due course of time, he attained the state of an Arhat or reached the rank of the Thera, and then he became the acknowledged leader of the monks when he was very young. The whole world paid heed to his words even as to the word of the Buddha. He was the chief of the Binay for 68 years. The Samant Pasadika and the text Mahavans provide information regarding pre-birth, birth, ordination, education and the life history of Thera Moggaliputta Tis. However, BC, none of these texts provide any information regarding the death of the Thera Moggaliputta Tis. Now we will discuss the death of the Thera Moggaliputta Tis. It is the text Deepavans which speaks about the death of the Thera. According to the text, Thera Moggaliputta Tis had completed his 66 years of lifespan in 6th year of Asoka's reign. He died at 86 in the 26th year of the Asoka's reign. It is stated above that Thera Moggaliputta Tis was ordained by Singh 64 years after the latter's Upsampada. In the 2nd year of Chandragupta's, that is 319 BC. He was the chief of the Binay for 68 years after Singh died. He was chief of the Binay for 68 years after Singh died, 80 years after ordination and 26 years after Asoka's Abhishek. The first two statements accord with 239 BCE and the last with 238 BCE. However, suppose we place the consecration of Asoka as early as the year 265, which results from dating the Buddha's death on the full moon day of Vesak. Even according to this reckoning, in that case, Thera Moggaliputta Tis' death should be placed at 239 BC. The Samant Pasadika, the Deepavans and the text Mahavans testify to the erudition of and the unique position held by Thera Moggaliputta Tis. According to the text Deepavans, Thera is endowed with 6 supernatural powers, great psychic powers, incredibly resplendent leader of the Sangh, great wisdom and suppressor of other heretical views and far-sighted. According to the Mahavans, Thera is the illuminator of the Sasan. Now we will focus on the historicity of Thera Moggaliputta Tis. The archaeological evidence has established the historicity of Thera Moggaliputta Tis. A relic casket bearing the inscription Sapuris Moggaliputta Puttas in the top number 2 at Sanchi, bottom of the stellite box number 4, proves the historicity of Thera Moggaliputta Tis. The reliquaries have been dated to around the end of the 2nd century BCE, a little over a century after Asok. These inscriptions are our oldest epigraphy evidence for monks' names, locations and dates. Some scholars shows that the 5 monks mentioned on the casket may be identified with 5 monks who, as recorded in Samant Pasadika and other Pali sources, who were sent to the Himalayan region as a part of Asokan missionary effort. Additional names are of the student and the followers of the original missionaries. Thus, the Pali sources find necessary verification in the 2 oldest sources of the epigraphical information. The Asokan edicts confirm the 3rd Buddhist Council and the Vedisa inscription confirm the account of the mission. Thus, the chief Pali source find necessary verification in the 2 oldest sources of epigraphical information. The Asokan edicts confirm the 3rd council and Vedisa inscriptions confirm the account of the mission. Thank you, and I hope this module will enrich your knowledge regarding the life history of Thera Moggaliputta Tissa.